So welcome back to another video here. And just standing here beside, we just have some bales out here. There's a stack of 90 bales here. We weren't able to fit him in the shed and said we wouldn't put him into another shed there. We'd just cover him down with a piece of plastic. You'd end up taking him back out and having to cover him anyway when it comes to letting in the cattle. So look, at do it first as last. And we had this spot here, there beside the shed. We brought down, there was some clay tipped along here where the bales are standing. It was all along beside that shed there, and we brought it down to that piece of ground that we seeded there and levelled up the few spots in it that needed a bit more, and worked out well, and we have them set up there now. But yeah, straw is a different it's a different kettle of fish this year. There's seemingly loads of straw about there, no problem getting straw around here anyway. Nearly there in the latter end, we had a few lads ringing there wondering would we want more straw, like that sort of thing. I think we have a few more bales to come here. There's a man there doing his sums there on the last few to see keep his customers going there, and if there's a few there that can come here as well. But yeah, straw shouldn't be a major issue this year, I believe anyway. So look, 2 years completely different. like I reckon there's more of a cover on it. So look, maybe I'm looking at it completely wrong, but they were supposed to have the same ingredients and everything. So I don't know. There was something different in it anyway. Whatever. I don't know what. But what are people using there? Would they go for the cheaper options or go for the dearer option? Like it's very hard to know what is the better way to go. Like there's so many, like they may have the same active ingredient, but it's the carriers as well which make a difference too. So I don't know. Like it's very hard to know. These were done, like their time was up there on the first dose they got, so there were time for another dose. The the residual was out on it, like, so, or their cover was out. So like, look, we done them. Didn't do any dung samples like you're supposed to do all these dung samples, but it's very hard to know. Like, you get back a sample and there's nothing in it. But the samples we were getting back, like, it could be a couple of weeks before you get the results. So like, a lot can happen in a couple of weeks. So like, we just take the dose, just do them. Look, as it's all being done now, it's not the way to do it. You shouldn't do it. You're supposed to wait till your samples show up. But like, I don't know. Is it a fire brigade job then at that stage? So look, maybe I'm wrong, but look, so what's people doing? Are they going down that road? What dosings are you using? Just drop it in the comments there. Just see what you're using and how you're finding them, and maybe the cheaper options are the way to go. Like, I don't know. Generally, I find anyway that if you spend the money to do, it does work that little bit better. But look, it's maybe I'm be proven wrong there on this one. But yeah, the gates we got there, they're a 7-bar gate. They're nice and high, all interlinked there with the pins. The pins that go into them. We never make up pens, alright, but there was with gates and you were tying them with ropes and yokes. So, and as well as that, the gates wouldn't be as high, like there were the ordinary field gates sitting on the ground. So not an ideal situation if you have lads inclined to jump on a few things. But yeah, they worked reasonably well. A little bit rattly in itself, which are lucky you're going to have that. But you know, like where we are here, like the ground is broken up a lot, so they're handy to bring on, and you can set up your pen and corner them in there with a piece of wire, and be able to do what you want, dose them or get them in, or if you have to do anything. Now we have this little calf here. I suppose it's about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks old, but he's as blind as a bat, or she is. We'll just go over to her here now. You can hear me coming, obviously, but she can't see a thing. The cow is over there as well. They're in a square there together, so just to keep her, just a bit of a pin there made up there with just a bit of sheep wire around it there, not to let her get through it. But she's coming on nicely. Like, we had her in the shed there for a while, but we let her out here. She can pick away at a bit of grass and sure, get her going and get a bit more used to being out and about. We've had them over the years, an odd blind one, but this one now, I think she might be a sandwich or two short of a picnic, but she's coming on now, getting more used to being out and about. She was there when she get flustered, she'd sort of fall over and a few things like that, but she's not near as bad now. She's coming on well, and the cow keeps an eye on her too there as well. Like, she comes on up to her there every so often, so give her a chance there to get going anyway. Give her every chance anyway. The cow now is up there just checking, see what am I after doing, or did I do anything. So they're getting on well enough together there, so look, we'll leave them to it. I was just up the hill here looking at these cows and calves, just giving a check on them there. But all seems to be happy enough here anyway. They'd like a bit of a change, but they'll have to stay where they are for a while. there's not an awful lot of grass on it here, but there's not an awful lot of grass coming to where they're going to next. So look at, I'd say there'll have to be, there's bales of hay there now, they'll probably start putting them out, and I'm sure there's silage there as well there from last year. They can start picking at that when they're out anyway. It's easier. Go through it if there's a dodgy bale or anything on it when they're out, you can, rather than giving it to them in the shed. But yeah, grass now is starting to slow up here now a lot more than down in Gurchy. This will be drier here now on the hill. But same everywhere down this corner of the country anyway. Grass is starting to slow off a lot, not coming back there no matter what fertiliser is out on. But look, it's not going to grow, and it's gone so dry, it doesn't matter what you do really. But look, we have silage and hay there to give them, so we'll be okay there. To look at that sky looking around there, you think it's going to rain any minute, but no, it's funny this year. If that was any other year now, it would be spilling, but no, it's blowing away here and passing us over. But look, it has been a good year up to now, so but water, we're safe enough water wise for drinking, and that for the drinkers is we have lots of water that way, so that's one thing. But yeah, these lads they're coming on well there now. Their coats there earlier on, they were a bit ropey looking, still an odd one there, whatever it is. We thought we were doing the devil there. We got blood samples taken there to get mineral or trace elements sorted, or see what way they were. Get them tested there and see what way they were. But I don't know. They either lost the samples. They're saying they weren't right, but the vet is fairly confident that everything was sent off, and the ones that were sent off with him were right. So look, I'd say they were lost inside, but look, we're not getting them back. So you try to do everything right, and that's what you're up against. But look, look, we'll go from there, see what. There's not much you can do about that anyway, so look, we may go from there, but they seem to be doing reasonably well enough anyway. Just as I'm saying, there's an odd one around there now with a shaggy sort of a coat on him, like for young calves. It's unreasonable do, like they should have a good coat on them. But look, that's what you have. But there, when it's dry and fine and warm, it's an awful lot easier to keep them right too. It's not like a cold, wet time. Anything is sort of able to keep them ticking along there at that. But the bull is out. He's out a fortnight there from these. So we'll give him probably another couple of weeks, and we'll get him scanned. We have scanned a few there, them cows that were synchronised. The heifers were scanned alright, but the cows were away. There was 9 there in the bunch, and there was 4 of them showing nothing calf, so not a great result there on that. The bull is with him there, probably not ruthless enough. The bull is with him there now. We give him one more chance and see where they're going to be. They're going to be messing up the. Not that there's a great calving pattern here, but it's going to wrangle on a little bit longer. We'll give him a chance. We'll give him this. Let him in for 3 weeks there and see what's going to take place. After that, then they may go to the shed, and it's not in calf. They may go. There were cows. They're not rearing calves either, so like they were getting an extra chance, and this is their second chance, but third time lucky now. Look, the lost calves either from calving problems or that selenium problem that we had there as well. So we gave them the benefit of the doubt on that. So look, we'll see what happens after this anyway, but these are for scanning anyway, and hopefully these will have a better result anyway, and sure, we go from there. So we're just down looking at these lads here now, just giving a check on them as well. All fairly content looking there, there's no looking to go for the next move or anything, and the feeder there on the top of the field as well. We have them lay on another bit. They should be getting probably around 2.5 kilos per day there. It's hard to know until they have it emptied there to see how much they're using, but you see he's lay on a little bit further there now, so they should be able to scoop it out that little bit easier. Just bringing them up there, and they've got their worm dose as well, so just to get that out of the way there before weaning, if there was worm burden, stomach or lung worms there, just to sort of get that hurdle over with before the weaning as well. Pneumonia vaccine, like these would have been got their full vaccine coming out, so I'm presuming they're probably okay maybe until housing. So they should be safe enough that way. Just there on vaccines, lepto might be a little bit scarcer next year, they're saying there. There's some of the companies pulling out the market there for the lepto vaccine there for the cows, so if you're into that, maybe it might be no harm to see about looking up your next year's supply. Have it in the fridge anyway. They're reasonably long dated anyway, there's usually a couple of years on them, so if you can, it might be no harm to pick up what you need. It's a devil to miss out there, like it happened there a few years ago that supplies ran out. So like it's might be no harm to look it up now. I'm not getting nothing from any supplier now by saying that, but we've got ours. So look, just something to be looking at there. Maybe you'd be happy enough that your vet or your supplier will be able to hold them for you, but just when you're set up for your yearly booster, like it's a devil to miss out on it. But yeah, down here now, we're a little bit scarce in water. Our growth wouldn't be as back now as much as in Sherwood, but this will be heavier land down here, so it'll wrangle on for a bit longer now. It is starting to slow down, but water now is getting a little bit scarcer here, but we're not too bad. We have a pump, we're safe enough, like it's just doing it there with a Jenny there at the minute, pumping up to a tank there above, and is able to feed the two supplies there and keep them tipping along. We'll just run up here and see the way. It's not much of a setup, but we'll take a look at it anyway. But that's the little bit of a setup we have there for feeding the water here. The black pipe that's coming out the back, that's an old box shore or something that's coming out of that field above it, which is able to keep it water. And there's a nice dribble enough coming out of it there. And then if you see the ball cock here, we have another tank up on the bank, just there above. Like you'll just see the black tank there at the back. That's feeding that. So when the water level falls in that, the water will come down from the tank above. So we're getting about 4 days out of about 1,500 litres. So this is able to keep them tipping along as well. Like there's a dribble coming out of the drain there as well. So yeah, look, it's not ideal because, as I was saying before, all our water is down the hill, the field where it's coming out there behind us. We can't water it, like they have to travel down through the others to get the water down the way. So maybe, like as you can see here behind me, the plan was to get an ESB connection here, but it's very hard to get an answer from them there. You're filling in a lot of yolks, and with the way the solar pump has worked in the other place up there above, we might go down that option. Like there's an opportunity there to get grants back on solar pumps and the likes, so it's an option there. Like it could come in cheaper than the ESB connection. So look, it's we may look into a bit more anyway. It's just like we drilled a well and it's been about 4 years since we needed it, so like It's only, but if we had the well going, we get to feed the water up. You divide up a bit better, divide that field and put trocks up there as well that you could put more paddocks into down here, like. So look, something to be looking at. So we're after setting up a couple of water trocks here. With this one here, and there's another one just down the field there, another little bit. And this is where this now is being fed by the solar pump. We have about 400 metres of water to this trough here. This is the last one up the line. It's 1-inch pipe feeding it. That trough there is 150 gallons, and it was about 3/4 of an hour filling it. Now it wouldn't be all out 150 gallons, I know, because it's a bit around the top, but I let it up fairly well. The ball cock wasn't in it. The ball cock that came with it was there was a big restriction in it. It was probably for a smaller trough and a smaller feed, so we're after getting the ball cock like what's in the last one there. So it's an awful lot quicker. Now we haven't in it yet, but it's enough to keep these going here. Height wise now, I'd imagine we're more than 12 metres of a rise from the water. I'd say we're 15 metres of a rise from where the pump is, so we're sort of getting up to where that pump, it says 17 metres, so but no, I'll be happy enough with the flow of that for the amount of stock that we'll have on these here. Like, there won't be big numbers on this because there'll be some of them being mowed. This one was always being mowed here, and where we were reseeded below, which you can see through the trees there, just at the other side of that ditch, as the field we were reseeded. There won't be big numbers on this, so that would supply enough water for what we have here. Now look at, if you had 70 or 80 cows, you'd have to go for another option, but there's probably bigger volume solar pumps as well. But this one is plenty for what we have here, and with that size of trough, it should be plenty of scope to keep this piece of ground watered anyway. Now they're on this grass here, like you can sort of see behind me is the last. We divided this field into 4. There's about 11 acres in it, so you can see it's a bit. That Italian ryegrass has come, weed Italian ryegrass, I suppose what is, or weed white ryegrass. Bit of a nuisance now, alright, it goes to head, it gets strong very quick. So whatever the options are, getting rid of it now is probably another thing. That is a downside of the ryegrasses, alright. To take over, and they're damn near impossible to get rid of, so we'll work on that here anyway. But this bunch of cattle here, the ones that we got, the ones that I was saying we got AI'd there, there's one there, she was came bulling there the other day, so they're showing heat there now again, so it was interested in that one the day we let her in, and there was another one here yesterday that was interested in her as well. So look, I'll give him this option and give him this chance, maybe, if I'd say it right, and if they don't go this time round, it's into the shed for fattening. But no, sure, look, that's sort of year that it is. I don't know now what anyone else, is there anyone else finding poor results with their scanning, if they've scanning done so far. Just drop a comment there, see what way you're getting on or what have you. It's just interesting to hear, like, are you the only one with problems? But hopefully the main bunch of them won't be anything like this. We were happy enough with the ones that came out of the shed as well, so just one of those things maybe. But Justin is sitting here now, he's just showing a bit of interest there in a cow there. He's following her around, he's looking at me now, but he was circling around after that one out in front of him. Coming over here now to get a scratch, but yeah, look, play it by ear anyway, and sure, look, I'll finish up the video here now as well, and sure, as always, like and subscribe, and sure, we'll see you in the next one. Good luck.